sun is shining. That's a plus. That is a good thing because I think the name of the group for today, it's not 66 Sputnik, but that's where the story starts. My story. We are talking about a group called U.S.A. Yes, sir, Bob. That's a serious name. Maybe the most serious band name in history. I would agree. Next to war. I didn't even thought of that, 10 seconds back. That's how my brain works. I'm pretty sharp. Just kidding. Just kidding. Suicide. Why? Why am I covering it up? Because I just for my own sake, in the beginning of the video, there's a connection, and then I'm gonna toss it aside. 66 Sputnik, I have been noticing. Maybe it's just me, but if I'm not wrong, they're not trending. But if there ever were trending, they are trending now. And my theory is pretty simple and short. It's because the world was not ready for 66 Sputnik, or for that matter, suicide, when they were new. And I can attest to that. I can prove it because I was a 66 Sputnik fan on day one. This was back in the days, 1986. Yes, I am a Generation X. And I was at that was my most busy year. I was 17 and or going on 17, I should say. In October of 86. And for me, 86 is the best year ever in history when we talk about art. My favorite movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, is from 86. Blue Velvet, River's Edge. You got loads of stuff from 86. There's a long list. You would be really, really surprised. I don't know what they took, but they took something. We know that now. Yeah, they took some fucking coke. End of story. If we're talking Hollywood and other places, they're still doing it. Yeah, maybe even more. So I was a big fan from the get-go. It was like, yeah, I was pretty excited. I think I saw something on MTV on the group. I'm not even sure why I bought it. As I tried to say in the beginning, this was the year when I bought just a lot, and I saw every damn movie I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 twice in theater. Life Force, Big Trouble in Little China, Fly remake, you name it. Loads of movies. And my taste in music was very broad. Why do I talk about movies? Because these guys are only talking about movies, almost. It's sex and violence, video nasties, and gratuitous sex. You should see the CD cover. I'm not gonna show it. That's a what do you call it? Full frontal nudity cover. It will be banned if I didn't blur it. So we're just gonna skip it. You can hunt that down if you're interested. So yes, and there's a number even on this one. Long story short, we got a number called Rocket Miss USA, and Rocket USA or Rocket Miss USA is a cover number from this album called almost the same but without the miss. It's just Rocket. Rocket USA. It's like, what number is it? Like number 2. So let's just put this baby on, because in this video we are talking about this group, and I just thought that it would be fair to mention, because maybe somebody's watching this video who never heard about suicide, and I think it's just funny these days that the world is finally warmed up to the idea of we're far enough out there in the future, and we're ready, I guess, or more ready, I should say. I was ready all the time. That's red. But yeah, that's just me. That's one point in my book. If you ask me, I think it speaks into, how if you can comprehend the concept and the sound from this group, you are ready for, I would say, a lot in music, in rock and roll. What is this music? In my opinion, it's a lot of things. It's like we got, I was about to say crowd techno elements. We got rockabilly, we got rock and roll. He's singing. If you're thinking, what is that style? It's pretty easy. The style is Roy Orbison, Elvis Presley, but on crack. All the songs is about how it is to live in the neighborhood they grew up in, and I think it was Brooklyn, New York. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was New York. Not totally sure about Brooklyn, but yeah, I think that's a good guess. I'm gonna stand up and check it. You know the drill. Sometimes I do cut this part out, because there's no need for anybody to stare at my old ass, my old 54-year-old white dude ass. I'm just kidding. Ghost Rider, Rocket USA. Some will think, or the people who know the record, I guess, will think why didn't he just turn it over to side 2 and give us Frankie Teardrop? Frankie Teardrop is one of the most talked about numbers on this album. That's the Hall of Fame suicide number, but it's pretty long, and I'm just gonna see if anybody are on the same side as me and dig this kind of music. There's no reason for a full album review if I'm the only one watching the video while I'm editing it. Then we're done with the suicide. And but I just had to make the video because I always dug it. As I try to say in the beginning, I had a pretty broad taste also before '86, but this album I can't remember. That's older than '86, of course, or else it wouldn't be a cover on the 6 Sputnik album from '86. I'm gonna write it. I already did, so it's done. And yeah, just to not skip over that, fact. I think it's pretty important, especially when I talk it up to or tell you a story. It's like instead of saying long time ago. So we got some facts, but it's not a fact-driven review. If you know my channel, it's more like a personal review. And I think that's just the way I do it. I was about to say at that time when we discovered suicide, they were, I guess, almost new. Let's just say that, and we were really surprised over the sound. It was one of those, like as I mentioned before, when you heard Dead Kennedys the first time, and it was like, what the fuck is going on, man? It's like Kraftwerk, from Germany. That's why I mentioned the crowd connection in my ears. But it was nihilistic. It was like if Kraftwerk. I'm being careful how to say it. Kraftwerk, we just say in Denmark. So if Kraftwerk was on fucking crack and LSD, that's suicide, and then some. Also living in the slum, and also getting hammered by the audience. These guys were fighting the audience on stage. The singer was going on stage with a bicycle chain just to make sure he was not the one who's getting the beating every single time on stage. I was like, it's a precursor also for Sleaford Mods. Sleaford Mods, I think, owes a lot to Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad, yeah, let's just call them that. It's like take the edge of the seriousness of the. And I'm not trying to make suicide cute. There's no reason, But after all, this is a video, that is made for entertainment. So I think we should just give it a go. I think I talked a lot. I'm pretty sure you would agree. It's Friday. Yeah, that's not a. You don't want to add drums to this one because there are no drums. It's like a drum machine. It's very primitive. Yeah. Sneaking around in a blue jumpsuit. Who's riding a motorcycle hero? He's blazing away. It's like a stars in the universe. It's minimalistic and aggressive, Who's riding a motorcycle hero? He's screaming the truth. America's killing its youth. Yeah. You will get used to that. He's screaming away. America's killing its youth. America's killing its youth. Rider. Yeah, man, that yeah. What are you gonna say? Just shut the fuck up and listen. That was the soundtrack to my youth. You can hear it, 6 Spotlight. The 6 sounds almost like this. Believe it or not. A little more polished. It's very rockabilly, It's almost like Gene Pitney, very Roy Orbison. Bright light city's gonna set my soul, set my soul on fire. Is that Viva Las Vegas? I just fucking love it. I know it sounds, for some people it may sound stupid, but it's fucking awesome. Rocket U.S.A. Damn. That's pretty hardcore. That's pretty hardcore, as we say in Denmark. No, we don't. Damn. What do you say to music like that? It still sounds like it's coming from the future almost. But you see what I mean when I say the times are ready for this more than ever. Uh, Also because we had a even the the housewives around the globe in the wide world had a minimalistic period 10 years ago. Everybody, when they started to throw out the DVDs to the recycle stores, and all of the stuff, and painted the living room white, and nothing on the walls, two candlesticks, not a stereo inside. Every album was streaming, and yeah, you're guessing right if you're guessing I was the the quite it was I was the reverse side of that. Maybe it's because I'm a painter, so I need the inspiration, on the wall and on the shelves and stuff, and in the music. But yeah, we were listening to Nina Hagen, Lena Lovich. We were even listening to Mike Oldfield back in the days. I was the only one listening to Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Um, and thinking Erasure was cool also. Most of my, buddies back in the day were metalheads. That was the most. If you were supposed to be cool and hard, you know, and we had to be some kind of badass. Yes, my nose is sniffling. It's the spring. I blame the spring. The spring is in the air time. But yeah, this gets me back to the good old days where we just discovered all the cool shit. Sex Pistols, Dead Kennedys, Judas Priest, Alice Cooper, even Motorhead back in the days. And yeah, man, I'll leave us. And then we just, one day, it's like suicide. Just a name. It was like, we had to give it a go because, as I said, if you were a boy in the growing up in the 80s, and I had the perfect age, I turned 11 in 80, and then I turned, yeah, 20, I guess, in 89. So I had all my teenage years was, you can do the math, you know, yeah, it must be right because I turned 10 in 79 and then I turned 20. Yeah, it fits. I was a teenager all through the 80s. It's not important, but anywho, I feel lucky having that experience and, sitting in cinemas watching Apocalypse Now on day one, Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, Prince of Darkness, all that shit, all that 80 greatness. Pink Floyd The Wall in cinema, even Pink Floyd live in Pompeii in cinema. The list is long, and yeah, suicide was a real. I don't know. I would guess half of the boys back then were ready. Me and a couple of dudes in out of 10 were like, yeah, man, that's pretty fucking hardcore. But it wasn't that big a stretch because we were ready, as I told you. We were already knee deep in Kraftwerk and Venom and yeah, etc. So it would take a lot to shock us, but it did shock us a little bit, especially the teardrop number on the B side. And yeah, comment it if you want. If you want to do it, it could be fun. But I that would take maybe more than just sitting and listening to it. That would be a beer in a video. There's a lot of screaming, and it's a long one. You know, it's a session. It's almost like therapy, and I'm not even exaggerating. It's a experience. It's like listening to Hendrix the first time. You know what I mean? So yes, we just survived. No pun intended. And yeah, about the name and survival. You know what I mean. I have a great big sympathy for the people who are experienced close on. My best friend took his own life. So in a in a very very slow motion way, you know, he took too many, you know, too much speed amphetamine, and knowing it would kill him. He actually died twice and were, you know, back to life. And and the doctor said you should be dead. It's a miracle you're here, because one of the times he took like 40 grams. Anywho, yeah. So yes, it's not a laughing matter. The suicide part of it. Anywho, eh, that was something. I guess it's safe to say. And yeah, I really dig it. Still to this day, it's not an album I listen to. I would say very often, but it's an album I keep going back to from time to time when I need that good old school nihilistic New Yorker, totally gutter brain. What do you want to call it? It's just like very real. I don't know if they're making music that this real, today. I would not have a, I wouldn't be able to come with an example, but I'm also not like a teenager no more, as I said. So I'm not following. I know there's a name called, you know, Taylor Swift. I never heard her. It's for me. It's like you can imagine being in my shoes. It's like, yeah, no. For me, that just looks like a. I think I said it in the last video, like a Britney Spears wannabe. It's or Madonna or Lady Gaga wannabe. Like just from the essential line, nothing new. That this is new. If nothing in the world sounds exactly like this group, they are original, and then some. Of course, they are making a sound you would be able to find in a similar way, but this just oozes, you know, uh, what do you call it? Cheap production. I guess they were poor. They just played what they had in their hands, or were able to get in their hands, making an album. It's very artistic, and as I said, there's one group that reminds me of it. Only one today, and that's Sleaford Mods. But that's a very, compared to this, very polished version. And they both got some punk in it, post punk. Not these guys, but Sleaford we would call post, but let's just call it punk. it can't be very, you know, we don't have to give it a lot of labels all the time. Sometimes it's okay. You can call this punk rock. You can call it techno punk. You can call it what the fuck you like. If you ask me, you can. Most important, you should call it great fucking music. That's let that be the last words for today. I'm running. We talked a lot. Sun is shining. Remember to enjoy life, and because it's gorgeous, especially if you're able to find the secret. And I think you are. I think you are. Enough said. Domo nagato for watching. You know I love you. See you in the next video. Yeah. Bye now.